What is the greatest teacher? The greatest teacher is yourself, observing yourself, staying present, surrender. That is the greatest teacher, giving it all up. Stop thinking and end all of your problems. Why is staying present the greatest teacher? Because it allows us to create space, empty the mind, which allows better communication with the divine and gives us a deeper understanding. And the more deeper understanding we gain, the more we can stay present. So we just keep gaining as conscious beings these deeper understandings and these different perspectives we're put through, which allows us to stay present more, which is our highest self, which is allowing God, the divine, our cosmic beloved, to work through us. And this is the highest achievement, because we are just doing good. We are just funneling divine love as a vessel of sorts in the illusion. So this is the greatest teacher, the present moment. All we have to do is stop thinking, because you're receiving the teachings directly from God, from the divine, because that's full surrender. Stop thinking. That's full surrender. That's difficult for some people to hear. That's giving up control. People don't want to give up. Their egos don't want to give up control because they think there's somebody doing something. They think we're in control. We think we know. And the ego resists its own destruction, right? And how you interpret things that I'm saying is very interesting. People all will interpret it depending on where they're at from different perspectives. Some people understand it completely, and some people it doesn't resonate, and that's fine. When I see things I don't resonate with, you let them go. That's what we do, right? So we're talking about the greatest teacher is the self. Stand in the center of the circle and allow all things to take their course. That is the greatest teacher. That unlocks it all, because you become one with the beloved, right? You can come to the center of the circle instead of being in the thinking mind and staying caught in the illusion, because we think we're somebody doing something and we think we're in control and we think we know. We give it all up. And then the deeper understanding is what elevates our being into the present moment and allows higher self, until we get to a point where we're higher self all the time. We gain enough balance, our being, our chemistry, and our conditioning, which we're just observing all the time anyway, gains enough balance to allow this connection, this divine connection. So that is the greatest teacher, because that is all there is to do. There's nothing to do but to do nothing. Stop thinking. That's all there is to really do, because we're not doing anything. We're just watching the game. We're just watching the theater unfold, which it keeps unveiling itself more and more as we become more conscious. And that's how we save the world from this sort of trap we're in, depending on what level we're talking about, right? We have to free ourselves inside to free the world outside from these games and these control traps. And they use things like war and news and stimulation to perpetuate the cycles of thought, which has us thinking we're somebody doing something, has us thinking we're in control, which is the cause of all suffering. All suffering assumes control, and has us thinking we know, which keeps us caught in lower limiting perspectives, which makes us easier to control and manipulate. So this is the whole game with all the chaos, right? And the stimulation, information, aggravation. That's the name of the game, to keep you attached to your somebodyness, which is going to allow them to just manipulate you a little bit more. So how do you escape the illusion? Stop thinking, and they can't control you. And you free yourself. You free yourself from being caught in the cycles of suffering and the illusion. You free yourself from the future and the past, the shame, regret, guilt, sin, because all of these things assume control when there is no control. Because when we stop thinking, we become the observer in the center of the circle, and we allow all things to take their course. So this, my friends, is the greatest teacher. Just keep giving it up. That's all we can do, is just give it all up. Just constantly, just keep giving it up. And say, I surrender. I surrender. I surrender, because that's all there is to do, is allow the divine to fully work through us. This is our highest self. This is like the Atman, right? And this is how we move to, like in the law of one, they talk about densities. We go from a third density, where we are now, to the fourth density, which supposedly Jesus was a fourth density, and he volunteered to go back a level and forget who he was to help humanity. And that's what he did. So there's other fourth density beings on earth that may not realize it. And there's many level beings, densities of beings on earth. But to get to fourth density, we have to do more than 50% of what we do has to be to help others, in the service of others. And that's hard to do unless we're free, unless we're balanced, unless we're freeing ourselves from all these traps that keep us caught in the game and focused on the wrong things, right? We're programmed to focus on just these same hamster wheel of things that just keeps us going and going, but it's taking away from our higher self. Because the name of the game is suppression, right? They're suppressing us in every conceivable way, because that's the only way they can control us, because they can't control free souls, free beings. They can't control beings who are allowing the divine to work through them. They can't control that, because only God's in control. And that raises the vibration. It's just constantly raising it, right? Until the whole planet gets on the same higher level of vibration. And then we break free from it all. But you are here with me. We are here together. Thank you for sharing this journey with me, because we are one anyway, right? We are all just practicing presence. And what does any spiritual teacher or speaker, what are they really here for? I heard this somewhere. All the teachers are just here to remind you that you're your God, guru, and self, all in one and the same. You're your greatest teacher, just observing. And stop thinking. Facilitate a state of peace, important in that. Purification, important in that. To stop thinking, because you need to calm the mind and the body. Right? All these things work on that, and reconstituting and emptying the mind, which you do through presence. This allows the deeper understanding. This is the greatest teacher. This is allowing the divine to teach. That is the greatest teacher. That is the only real teacher we need. Right? We don't need to chase information. Our ego wants to chase information because it's also stimulation. We don't need to chase information. We can just be and allow things that are going to impact our conditioning to come, and observe them. And then we watch how they change our conditioning, and we watch how our chemistry change when we start to change. Look at things like purification. We just observe it all. And this is all breaking us free from these traps of the somebodyness, of the ego, the actor, identifying with the actor, thinking we're the doer. As long as we think we're somebody doing something, and we think we're in control. All suffering assumes control, right? And all these traps of the past and the future, they all just melt away when we surrender, when we stay present. And God takes care of everything. And we see that the more we observe nature running off, we start to see that. We start to just observe it all, observe all the game. Observe nature running off, and the play just unfolding. The cosmic unfolding. That's what we are doing. We are lovingly observing the cosmic unfolding. I am God's eternal love pouring forth. Namaste.